Interviews can be nerve-wracking for anybody. But if you're a neurodivergent individual who is serious about up-leveling your interview skills, pay attention. I want to give you 3 quick tips about how you can up-level your interview skills that are going to help you feel more confident and prepared. Tip number 1 is about something you may or may not have heard of before. It's called the STAR method, and it is a great method for providing structured responses to interview questions. So it's going to be particularly useful if you are the type of neurodivergent person who sometimes finds yourself going off on tangents, who people always tell your story takes too long, if you often find in conversations that it's not reciprocal in terms of one person speaks for a very short amount of time and you speak for a much longer period of time. This is a tip that might be really useful for you. So the STAR method is a really measured, structured way to look at your responses to interview questions. STAR stands for situation, task, action, result, and it helps you provide structure to your answer. So when you give an answer to a question, that is what you are providing: the situation, the task, the action, and the result. So it's a really great way to structure answers for questions about your past experience. So the question might be something like, tell me about a time where you solved a very difficult problem. You would answer by giving the situation. In my previous role, I led a project. There's the situation. Where my task was to improve the efficiency. There's your task. I created a new workflow. There's your action, which reduced processing time by over 30%. There's your result. Trust me, this is revolutionary for keeping you in context and on point with your answer. Write it down. I would suggest that you would write down frequently asked interview questions. If you Google that and write down some of those interview questions and practice writing that out in that format: situation, task, action, result. The interview questions that you study might not be the exact same interview questions that are in your interview, but having this practice really, really helps you with being able to produce answers. And a lot of the times, the situation that you've used in an answer can be used for multiple questions. All right, I hope that was helpful. Here's tip number 2. Tip number 2 is really helpful for neurodivergent professionals, particularly those who may be on the autism spectrum and may present social information in a different way. Prepare yourself a communication style statement. So it's kind of like a script, and the reason for the script is that you want to help provide rationale or perception for a behavior that might be socially different or not what the interviewer was expecting. So, for example, if you struggle with small talk or eye contact, or it takes you a while to process questions, this is going to be the perfect type of statement for you. So make sure that you're making a statement that teaches that interviewer how to think about a behavior that they could interpret in a negative way. So for example, if you're the type of person who needs a longer time to process your answers or process information before giving an answer, that might be the statement that you make. I'm the type of person who does my best thinking when I have a moment to process questions. If I take a longer time to respond, it's just my way of ensuring that I'm providing a really thoughtful answer. And do you see how that takes the idea of taking a long time to answer a question from a possibly negative thing that the interviewer might be thinking to a really positive thing that you're thoughtful and intentional about the words that are coming out of your mouth? It sets expectation and reduces pressure on you during the interview. Then you don't have to be thinking about the whole time, I'm taking too long, I'm taking too long. You've already provided that disclaimer at the beginning, and it has provided a framework for people to think about that socially different behavior. Okay, is this good so far? I hope this is helping you. Drop in the chat, like, good, helpful, something like that if it is. Tip number 3 is to carry a cheat sheet with you into the interview, whether they're on the phone, whether they're in person. Writing notes is a good thing. I can't tell you how many people I come across who try to treat an interview as though it is an exam in school, and they are furiously trying to remember the answers that they thought about before. Skip that. Write things down. Having written lists makes you look prepared. Having information that you can refer to tells me that you are thoughtful, me as the interviewer, that you are thoughtful and that you are intentional, that you were thinking about this interview and that it's something that's important to you. So having a cheat sheet is one of those things that can really give you an advantage. Don't think you have to recall all of this information on the spot. All right. Hope this is really helpful to you. Information, or interviews rather, can be challenging, but preparation makes all of the difference. So spend time preparing. Now, let me ask you, what's one interview tip that has worked for you? Share it with me in the comments, and if you found this helpful, what's one interview tip that has worked for you? Let me know in the comments. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more career tips that are tailored for neurodivergent professionals.